Yes, I'm Mary Minor Evans.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for providing the opportunity to do one more thing for the Junior League.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about when you joined Junior League, why you joined Junior League.
Well, I joined in the beginning of the 70s. And I had lots of friends who were in the Junior League, but this was the time when you got a special delivery letter, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I was so surprised because my friends were lawyers' wives and doctors' wives and, you know, prominent people in town. And I thought, well, you know, UMD, there wasn't anyone who was married to a professor at UMD. So I just figured I wasn't ever going to be asked. And then suddenly this letter came and they wanted to have me. So I think I was probably the first UMD wife that joined the Junior League. That was way back in the beginning of the 70s. So when this all came about, I thought, great, this is a good way to get to know the city because I kind of know UMD. The tour of homes was really, I guess we had 4 or 5 homes. And I was property chair the first year I was in league. And that meant that you had to get all the stuff, you know, that was needed at each house and the signs and all that. And everyone worked. That was a big money raiser. The year that we had Glenn Sheen on the tour, of course, happened to be the year that there was a murder.
So tell us a little bit, because that was when Glenn Sheen was still a private home, correct?
That's right. Yes, it was a private home.
How were homes selected, and how was a home like Glenn Sheen selected for the tour of homes?
Well, we wanted to do homes that would appeal to people coming and seeing. And Glenn Sheen, of course, is a beautiful home. I know because I ended up being director there later on, but that's another story.
So there was a little pre-interviewing of the family and the homeowners so that you had enough information to give. Okay, that's great.
Yep. So,
and what other roles did you have in the Junior League?
Well, I ended up being on the Environmental Concerns Committee, and that was interesting because it was at the time of I-35, and I happened to also be in the League of Women Voters, and so I was really aware of what they were trying to do with I-35, and there was a lot of pullback from going past where it ends now at 28th. They wanted to go on beyond to 60th. And of course, that meant all those homes along London Road were gonna, you know, have problems. So Judy McKim and I worked on Congdon Creek. And we thought if we make that a park, then that'll stop the freeway. So that was really the first park that the Junior League worked on. And we did a brochure. I looked for the brochures, but I maybe could find them, but we got the Park and Rec department involved and did a brochure and talked about the plants and kind of how it came about. And of course it connected with Glenn Sheen. So, you know, it seemed like I was just combining one more thing of what I'd done before. And one of the things I learned is that if you're secretary, you really have to listen. And if you really listen, then you know what's going on. And it helped me a whole lot when I got on the Spirit Mountain Authority, which I did in '74. It was before it was open. And so here I was on this committee, because we were working with millions of dollars and 3 different budgets and financial aid from different places and all this kind of stuff. But it gave me, it gave me a better understanding. I really know a lot about Duluth because of the things that I've been able to do. Chaired the Outdoor Outlook Committee, which is where we put the brochures. And we ended up doing one for Chester.
Mhm.
And Jen, you probably have, you probably saw all those nice booklets. But it was fun because we got people that were interested in geology and people that were interested in the plant life, and we did a trail thing and had different stations, and the brochure kind of connected with the stations and all this kind of stuff. And the fact that Chester was only 5 blocks from where I lived, I found myself over there a whole lot. And then we did the one on Park Point, and we did the Lester Park. And the picture that I sent is the newspaper copy of the park, and with the people that worked on them. And we brought our kids when we opened it up, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So Mary, the brochures are something that Junior League essentially put together for for public use?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's fantastic. There is Jen has the flapper picture up on the screen. Mary, that is a magnificent photo.
Well, it was a cabaret and there was dancing, and my mother taught me to Charleston. And so there were about 4 or 5 of us that were doing the Charleston. I went to Sigrid and said, well, you give lots of stuff for the next new, but any chance, since maybe you were a flapper yourself in the 20s, might you have a good dress? And she let me borrow that dress. So I loved the dress. I had a wonderful time, and the cabaret was a big success. So, well, I've saved the best to last.
Oh, okay.
The one that I really, really liked. I was a sustainer.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was a full-time job, really. It was Playfront Park.
Ah, yes.
And there's a picture there that shows, all the people that were chairs of the different committees, and I happened to be the chair of the volunteers. And we ended up with over 2,000 volunteers.
Wow.
It took us a year to kind of set all this up. We worked with kids and what did they want in the park. We collected pennies and then put them all out on a gym floor, and counting them and all this kind of stuff. And to get volunteers, I worked with schools. I went to construction companies. I went to all these organizations in town and gave them the pitch and said we really needed volunteers. And then I did learn how to use a database, because these volunteers that were kind of maybe a little reluctant, found that it was such a wonderful thing. And really it was. I mean, you get 2,000 people, this whole community. We knew that it was going to be a safe place for kids, whatever time they went. And it went along smoothly. And we finished on time. So the following Sunday, we had a big opening, and all these kids were ready to go in there and play. And it was wonderful. It was really wonderful. It was a good mix of things for kids to do, and they loved it and we loved it.
If you had to sum up what your Junior League membership has meant to you, tell us a little bit about what it means to you and what you would maybe tell other people who might be interested in the Junior League.
Well, it lasts. When a group of us went sustaining, we're all about the same age, we set up a birthday club. So once a month we would get together, and that's still going on. Not now because we can't socially get together, but I had everyone here at the Pines for the last one in February. And it's the friendships you make, the people that you can depend on, and the knowledge that you have. Yes, and we've got this lunch group. That's a different group, but it's the Out to Lunch bunch on Wednesday now.
I love it.
But the fact is that if you only use half the population, meaning the men in these high-powered jobs, you're only going to get half the ideas and interaction. And so I've always kind of gone on that, and I thought that was one of the things that I took away from the Junior League, that don't be afraid to do things that you have a background and you are able to do it.